Jesus modeled light this way. Jesus went to people who didn't agree with him, went to people he didn't think wanted him. Jesus went to broken people, hurting people, disillusioned people, marginalized people, oppressed people, forgotten people, overlooked people. Jesus went to places where people would have felt dark, been deemed dark. Jesus went to the overlooked. Jesus went where light was actually needed. And Jesus didn't take darkness into those moments. Jesus was light. So he brought healing, he brought truth, he brought revelation, he brought a way forward, he brought hope. But today, when we see darkness, when we see people that we don't agree with, or we see people who just do it differently, man, they should figure it out themselves. They're in that spot because they deserve it. They don't agree with me. They're infringing upon my comforts and my conveniences. They're pushing against it. That we get programmed into this thing of look, I'm going to try. I have one mission. It is my job to convince them to come my way. And if I can't do that, I'll just cancel. And I'll reinforce kind of this little safety net that I have. She says, no, look, here's the thing. Let me put this like in a religious expression and how we do it a lot of times in religious circles that we label spiritual and Jesus following. Here's what often happens. When we see something that we view as darkness, we see something that is different than we agree with, when we see something when we see something even that is sin, that is contrary to God's best and contrary to what God would lovingly be trying to offer people, a lot of times when we see that darkness, the way we respond with darkness is actually to try and get to that person and make them lovable. We try and convince them of how they could be more lovable. And we do it cloaked in love. We act like we're loving, but we are trying to make them more lovable because more lovable would make us more comfortable. When what Jesus actually did is he said, look, how can I express more love? How can I express more love? Our prayer should not be, how can I make them more lovable? Our prayer should be, God, let your kingdom come in me. Help me be more loving. Help me be more loving.